This is a look at the second week of the Hong Kong International Literary Festival. Too late now, but hopefully you've been to see some events, and ones I think you really should be very interesting is Guo Xiaolu, I Am China, and Robert Douglas Fairhurst, Becoming Dickens. I had a quick chat with Robert yesterday. You can check him out. There's a Vimeo link I'll put under the show notes for him talking about the book, and it was really started off as a biography of Dickens in youth, and then became a kind of exploration of how he became a writer and what the issues were that affected his writing. Anyway, really interesting book. I mean, it's kind of Dickens. What new can you say about Dickens? Anyway, I think he's come up with some new stuff. And Guo Xiaolu, I Am China. Very interesting writer. I moderated an event, a private event for the students at the City University of Hong Kong, and provocative, funny, very interesting. Anyway, so that was a good night. So coming up for this is the second and last weekend of the festival. Tonight, which is Friday the 8th of November, I'm doing an event at the Fringe Club, 7 till 8, and it's an author-led book club meeting about the Drink and Dream Tea House. Drink and Dream Tea House is my first novel, set in modern China. It was out of print for about 10 years for various reasons, and has just come back in print. Anyway, so that should be a really interesting event. If you're quick, you can go straight from that to see Luke Wright's Essex Lion, and he's also doing one on Saturday night in the Agnes B Theatre in the Hong Kong Arts Centre. Anyway, so he's going to be underground at the Fringe Club tonight. Luke Wright, I saw him in Beijing last year. He was fabulous. Great performance, funny, sharp, relevant, interesting, very amusing, poignant, all that stuff in kind of performance poetry. Again, if you miss it, he has a YouTube channel, he has a podcast. I've heard him on Saturday Live on BBC Radio 4, so that should be very interesting. So he's Saturday night and Friday night. Saturday, tomorrow, Ma Jian, Dark Road, China's one-child policy. Again, there's a lot of kind of Chinese writers who are very trendy and fashionable. Ma Jian, I think, is perhaps, well, for me anyway, he's the most kind of authoritative and interesting. He kind of spans the 1980s China, and but is still, I think, still writing. He's still probably more relevant than a lot of writers who've left China. Obviously, he's not allowed back into China now, which is something of a shame. I was sitting next to him yesterday at lunch, and he's one of the kind of few Chinese writers who my Chinese is better than his English. So we speak in Chinese, and unfortunately, I learned my Chinese way back when no one really said anything very intelligent, certainly not to foreigners. And so my conversational Chinese is very good, but I'm very difficult saying or understanding intelligent things in Chinese. Anyway, so we have a bizarre conversation about our children. Anyway, so also Saturday, so Ma Jian is 12 o'clock underground at the Fringe Club. Also tomorrow is Graham Simpson, Every Word Counts, a workshop for short story writing. This, I think, is, literary festivals should be more than just sitting listening to authors saying the same things they've said, and authors, I think, get very bored of kind of bored of hearing themselves talk. So this should be a good event. Hopefully kind of going forward for the Lit Fest, there can be more of these different types of events. Anyways, this is a short story writing workshop. So this is what kind of literary festival should be about, of celebrating stories and getting people to write stories. Anyway, so go along to that. That's Graham Simpson. Sunday, the 10th of November, at the City University of Hong Kong, in my office building, my office block, the Creative Media Centre, which is a fabulous building. Anyway, so the BBC, the Forum, they're recording an event about creativity in Hong Kong. Is kind of Hong Kong the leading light, or is it falling behind? I'm not sure, anyway, but we'll find out. And if you miss those, and also that Margen event is also a forum event, if you miss those, they're going to be broadcast over the next 2 weeks on the BBC World Service. There's a podcast which covers the last month's worth of forums, and there is also, can be downloaded from the website. You know, there's not much intelligent radio left in the world, and the forum, I think, is one of the more intelligent programs. So, you know, catch those talks, Margen on the one-child policy, and City University of Hong Kong, the creativity in Hong Kong. Anyway, catch those, and it should be very interesting. So, this is the end of another year, and I hope you've enjoyed the festival. I hope you've been out to some events. You know, if you've been to something that you thought was really good and I missed, then let me know, and we'll try and include it with kind of a roundup. Anyway, thank you. Enjoy. Get out there. Last weekend before all these writers leave Hong Kong, and we're all alone again. Oh, one last thing I wanted to mention is I've just received these in the post, and this is the Chinese translation of Passing into Heaven. Never had a book in Chinese before. Never had a Hock Pink book. As you know, I have a dubious relationship with the Chinese censorship, as Drink a Dream Tea House was not allowed to be translated. Anyway, so delighted this is in Chinese. I'm going to be sending this out to my friends Song Ching, Emma, and Windy, and love to hear what you